Welcome to the Unveiling Shadows podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Mosby. Join me as I dive into powerful stories of resilience and strength. In each episode, I sit down with guests who have faced similar journeys of coercive control, financial manipulation, and personal invasion. Together, we uncover the shadows, share our experiences, and inspire others to reclaim their lives. Tune in, listen, and be a part of the community that stands tall against the forces that seek to control us. Have you noticed how food doesn't taste the way it used to, in my opinion? And how tomatoes look very pink and they're mushy? They're not like tomatoes from a garden that is grown by someone in their backyard. They taste and smell much different than they used to. I'm going to share my screen here. Let's have some food for thought, shall we?
Fake fruits caught on camera.
So I cut watermelon for my kids, and they're all bringing it right back, saying they don't like the texture. I've seen enough videos of people posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubbery watermelon. The texture is so weird. Like, you gotta bend it so far before it will break.
That's disgusting.
So my mother was showing me that she opened the banana, that she thinks that these are not real bananas. We got it from the supermarket, but when she opens it and she breaks it in half, it gets very tough and doesn't really break. And when it pulls, it's like it's glue. It's very tight and doughy.
So I got this watermelon at Walmart, and I like to rinse my watermelon before I cut it, and it's like pinning.
Wow.
Does anybody has problems with their watermelon like this?
We all do, probably. Oh, I like Candace Owens. We're going to do something on her
Donald Trump
later.
Jr.
Let me
here.
go back to the fake food videos first. Let's see what this was 1 month ago.
3 different companies, all expired bread. None of them have mold. We'll start with this one, August the 2nd, 2024. It literally was never used. Has the end piece. None of it is molded.
Wow.
Still soft. The Sunbeam is October the 2nd, 2024. Some of it had been used. We'll take some out from the middle. None of it is molded. Still soft. Sara Lee is October the 15th. Some of it was used. Now this is the honey wheat. Still soft. None molded.
And unmolded.
Disgusting.
So I heard somewhere that they put the same thing that they use in yoga mats in the bread now. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Let's just put it that way.
This is actual footage of fake beef's production process in the factory. Would you eat such meat?
No.
Would you eat these inflammable noodles?
No.
In China, the prevalence of fake products is a well-known fact, and amidst the surge of counterfeit goods, the issue of fake food particularly stands out. Food fraud not only poses a grave threat to people's health, but also erodes trust within society. Today, let's delve into some of the shocking fake food items found in the Chinese food market.
Wow.
Fake beef. Let's begin with the fake beef that you saw at the beginning of the video. Due to the high cost of beef, which is approximately 160 to 180 yuan, 22 to 26 USD per kilogram, businesses often cut costs by using cheaper meats such as chicken, duck, or pork, which cost around 20 yuan, 3 USD per kilogram, to create synthetic meat. To enhance the beef flavor, they add ingredients like beef essence or beef tendons. After these ingredients are mixed and marinated, gelatin is then added to mimic the texture of beef, making it chewy and elastic. Some manufacturers even craft a beef-like surface texture, making it hard to distinguish from real beef.
Well, if you're sitting there chewing it like a piece of leather, then I'm probably pretty sure that you'd know you couldn't cut it with a butter knife.
Other sellers use leftover beef scraps, such as lymph nodes and internal organs, to produce fake beef. These low-cost scraps are ground into minced meat, mixed with additives to produce synthetic minced meat.
Oh my God,
Fully
I gotta
color
move
resemble
forward
fresh
because I'm
beef.
about
They
ready to
add
gag.
coloring agents such as carmine and nitrates. There are even some
Oh, I gotta
For
get
over
off
a
the beef.
decade. That is Mongolian meat. When you hear Mongolian meat, you might be thinking of Mongolian beef, but there's actually no beef in here. This Mongolian meat comes in 3 different grades. The lowest grade contains duck meat and a bunch of additives, priced at 6 to 8 yuan. The mid-range option includes some pork and duck meat along with a heap of additives, priced between 8 to 10 yuan. The high-grade version consists of pork and a bunch of additives, priced around 10 to 15 yuan.
The man in the video reveals that a bag of Mongolian meat contains 2 smaller bags, enough for 2 servings. The cost of one portion of restaurant-served boiled beef is 5 yuan, while they sell it to you for 58 yuan per bowl, allowing the owner to make a profit of 50 yuan. What's more, we can see that the list of ingredients on the packaging of Mongolian meat includes pork scraps, duck scraps, phosphate, sodium citrate, current.
Oh God, I gotta.
You can't tear it apart. No idea what kind of glue they use. Cut it open and you'll see. The white part is the glue. If you try burning it with a lighter, it actually catches fire, and it produces a smell just like burning plastic. They're selling this kind of beef for 1 to 200 yuan for half a kilogram.
How is fake beef jerky made? As the video shows, first, a mold of the beef jerky
It makes me want to stop eating meat, and I don't eat red meat that often.
is created. Once the mold is ready, it is disassembled and refined into a perfect shape. Then the mold is cleaned. After that, the ingredients for the fake beef are prepared. Following this, the jerky is baked. Once cooked, the fake beef jerky is removed and then it undergoes a second coloring and glazing. Finally, the fake beef jerky
A
is completed.
whole lot of work to make fake food.
Low quality or even spoiled meat with chemical ingredients such as flavorings for processing. In terms of taste and appearance, these fake lamb chops are almost indistinguishable from real ones. Some businesses use an enzyme that can act as a binding agent, mixing duck and chicken meat with beef, along with the right seasoning to create fake lamb chops. Made into a machine, which then extrudes dough-like substances from the other end. The dough-like object is then put into another machine, and after undergoing processes like wire drawing and threading, the machine produces shiny plastic rice. The same goes in this video. An unidentified gel-like substance is poured into the machine, and what comes out from the other end is rice. Even the popular self-heating rice products that have gained popularity in recent years have their hidden surprises.
The rice you can find in the supermarket is usually crystal clear, with distinct grains. In contrast, the rice in self-heating meals appear like long, thread-like strands. If you look closely, you'll even notice some tiny bubbles within, forming irregular elliptical strands.
So it turns out that what's being sold is not real rice, but reconstituted rice, which is made primarily from rice, wheat, and cornstarch.
Plastic.
Seasonings and food additives are then added, and after a certain proportion is determined, the mixture is ground, then processed through extrusion and puffing to form something that looks similar to regular rice. However, because many nutrients are lost during the production process, it's not recommended for long-term consumption. Lately, there is even a type of rice marketed as natural green rice. It claims to be a specialty from Northeast China, but many people from that region have only become aware of it in the last 2 years. The quality of this green rice, which is advertised as free from colorants and additives, have been the subject of numerous blogger reviews.
I bought some all-natural, non-artificially colored bamboo rice, which cost me 16.5 yuan per kilogram. This is the most expensive rice I've purchased so far. Let's take a look at its ingredients list. It includes corn flour, spinach flour, mulberry leaf powder, fresh bamboo leaf powder, and water. The ingredient list has anything but rice.
The blogger mentioned that this kind of rice looks fresh after cooking, but its color is a bit faded. After cooking, it sticks together like glue, forming a solid mass. The texture when eating is similar to chewing.
So what do you think it's going to do in your stomach?
If it forms a solid mass after you cook it, that's what it's doing in your stomach. And your stomach is where your immune system resides. And everybody has parasites. And everybody should probably do a parasitic cleanse.
On glue. It could even dislodge your dentures. A man bought a pack of noodles priced 10 yuan for half a kilogram, only to discover something alarming at home. After soaking the noodles in water overnight, not a trace of powder dissolved, and the noodles could even be stretched. This has shocked them, and apparently he will not be eating it. Another customer mentioned they would never buy noodles from the market again after witnessing a noodle shop owner kneading dough and simply ignore the customers when they're asked to select which type of noodle to buy. This raised suspicions. Could the flour used in these noodles be different from what's found in home kitchens? Later, the customer learned from a neighbor who has been running a noodle business for over 10 years that many noodles on the market contain carcinogenic substances like borax to enhance their elasticity and texture. Noodles with borax usually have a smooth surface and are white with a slightly yellow tint. Formaldehyde can also be added to make noodles appear fresher. For noodles that don't soften easily, some producers add strengthening agents, and others include carcinogenic chemicals like sulfur dioxide to improve the appearance. Despite looking appetizing, these noodles pose potential health risks.
Oh, do you think?
To investigate the composition of fake noodles further, a blogger conducted an experiment. Observing the noodle samples under a microscope, the blogger found it strange to see granular substances clearly visible. Moreover, these noodles had strong elasticity, didn't spoil over time, and didn't become sticky. The blogger then used a borax detection kit, which confirmed the presence of borax in these granules. Another blogger conducted a simple formaldehyde test. They coated both a boiled and an unboiled noodle sample with a formaldehyde detection solution. After 30 minutes of waiting, the results were revealed. The uncooked noodle showed a moderate to high level of formaldehyde of between 1.1 to 1.2, far exceeding the normal caution level of 0.1. The cooked noodles had levels around 0.5, with slightly lighter coloration indicating that formaldehyde remains even after cooking. Fake tofu. Tofu, a highly popular and nutritious food, is generally considered a natural product, so normally one should not worry about buying fakes, right? Surprisingly, fake tofu has also appeared in China. Some types of fake tofu are extremely hard with no elasticity when pressed by hand. This type of tofu is suspected to contain industrial gypsum with a significantly excessive chemical content, potentially posing carcinogenic risks when consumed excessively.
Food.
Another variety of fake tofu appears white and tasty but emits a lime powder odor. This suggests the use of whitening agents, which may adversely affect one's health if consumed in excess. Some unscrupulous merchants even add gelatin during tofu production, making it impossible to soften even after prolonged cooking.
A natural back pain discovery was sued by big pharma giants. This breakthrough, known in Switzerland as the mineral reset method,
and is generally unpleasant to eat. There's also tofu with an unusually smooth cut surface, devoid of tofu's natural honeycomb texture.
Okay, so if they're messing with people's food in the CCP, I don't have a very nice acronym for that, then what do you think that they're doing here? Or in every country?
Suggesting the addition of coglutenates. This type of tofu won't soften even after long periods of cooking. Fake buns. Consumers dining out need to exercise caution, particularly regarding aluminum buns. Authentic buns naturally have a slight yellow tint, while aluminum buns appear white and soft. Aluminum buns are made using sweetening baking powder containing aluminum sulfate and aluminum hydroxide, which are acidic substances. During steaming, these substances produce carbon dioxide, causing the buns to expand and appear larger and whiter. While these buns may look appealing and taste soft, the aluminum sulfate they contain could pose health risks. Consuming these buns over time can affect bone development and memory in children. A blogger also examined buns made with lymphatic meat under a microscope and found out that the meat appeared darkened in color. Lymphatic tissue, being part of the animal's immune system, contains large amounts of phagocytes that ingest bacteria and viruses, making it susceptible to contamination by pathogens like Salmonella and Staphylococcus aureus, and thus unfit for consumption. Unquarantined pig lymphatic meat could expose consumers to various zoonotic diseases. Fake eggs. The world is full of surprises, as even eggs can be faked. A woman showcased the fake eggs that she bought, noting they often crack in the middle, unlike the intact appearance of normal eggs. The egg whites and shells of fake eggs are darker in color. The most distinctive feature is that the yolks of fake eggs are often a single uniform mass, rather than being dispersed naturally. This may be due to the addition of thickeners, and the ununiformed appearance of yolk color is achieved through coloring or other chemical methods. The woman expressed concern, showing that these eggs lack any flavor and are entirely spoiled when opened. The production process of fake egg is rather puzzling, primarily involving the mixing of various compounds. These compounds have no nutritional value, and long-term consumption can cause harm to the body. The first step is creating fake eggs as to make the egg white. Sodium alginate is mixed with water to form a solution, the base for the egg white. The solution is stirred continuously until it thickens into a substance resembling egg white. The egg yolk is made similarly, but with the addition of colorants like lemon, yellow to the sodium alginate solution. This colorful solution is then poured into specially designed molds and solidified in a calcium.
It seems like a lot more work to make fake food than it would be just to do it naturally. I'm just thinking outside of the fake food box here.
Chloride solution. The eggshell is formed from a mixture of calcium carbonate and other materials placed in molds to achieve the shape of an eggshell. It's almost unthinkable that even tea leaves can be counterfeited. A video showcases a woman demonstrating the process of scenting tea leaves. Pour this fragrance water into a measuring cup, open the air compressor switch, aim the nozzle inside the tea leaf container, and spray some fragrance water into the container while stirring the tea leaves. This is a process of adding fragrance. The end results are finely misted tea leaves. This is what we call fragrance tea. To enhance their appearance, some unethical businesses add artificial colorants to tea leaves during processing. There have been reports of lead chrome green being added to green tea, giving it more of a vibrant green appearance. However, this colorant is an industrial pigment that is toxic in nature and should not be used as a food additive. Manufacturers also add sugar to tea leaves, aiming to improve the glossiness and sweetness of the dry tea. The sugars used include edible sugars and artificial sweeteners. Some merchants even make use of inferior materials to substitute for higher quality ones, creating blends that are difficult for the average consumer to distinguish. The most common example of this is blending of lower quality Tieguanyin tea. Tieguanyin, a tea plant variety and also a name for a specific tea making process, often includes blends of other varieties similar to Tieguanyin, particularly among many of the cheaper options available on the market. Fake honey beehives. Honey as a natural nutritional food is cherished for its unique flavor and numerous health benefits. However, in recent years, some businesses seeking illicit gains have employed various illegal methods to counterfeit honey, flooding the market with fake and substandard products. The most common method of faking honey involves mixing syrup and adding fragrance, making it look like real honey. This deception is hard to discern based solely on appearance. Some businesses feed bees sugar.
I've heard about this, including in the Americas,
which in the presence of ample food sources discouraged them from collecting nectar, thereby saving time and increasing honey production at the expense of taste quality. Additionally, some businesses add maltose or sodium glycinate among with various additives to mimic honey. While merely affecting taste might seem harmless, some producers create fake honey by mixing alum and white sugar, which with long-term consumption can damage the brain's nervous system, leading to irreversible memory loss. Some unethical businesses use low-cost honey to impersonate high-quality honey, adding corn syrup and flavors to create honey that is difficult to distinguish from the genuine product. To ensure that you are buying trustworthy honey, it is essential to compare products from different sources and purchase from reputable sellers. Unscrupulous merchants may use cheap honey as a substitute for premium honey. adding high fructose corn syrup and flavorings, making it difficult to distinguish from the real product. To purchase good quality honey, consumers should shop around and buy from a trustworthy merchant. In recent years, not only honey, but even beehives have also frequently been counterfeited.
Crazy. This is crazy.
Bought this for 30 yuan, which comes in a square-shaped box that looks quite appetizing. The seller claimed it to be natural beehive honey, assuring us it could be safely soaked in water and consumed.
He explains upon examining a piece of honeycomb, a line can be seen in the middle. This is where the problem lies. There's this substance visible when we pull it apart, and next we'll soak it in lukewarm water to see what happens. It's revealed that this substance is made from industrial paraffin wax, which is a must use when producing artificial honey. It is highly hazardous to the human body as it contains carcinogenic substances like polycystic aromatic hydrocarbons and condensed aromatic hydrocarbons, especially when leached into warm water.
Yeah, it looks like a candle, like the beeswax candles that you get. I wouldn't be surprised if those are made out of paraffin, and you're not supposed to burn those in your house anyway.
I purchased this at the Shifangping night market in Changsha. The stall is called Lao Jai Little Seafood, and the sea cucumber is priced at 96 yuan per half a kilogram. Did you think this was sea cucumber? I ate quite a bit before realizing that something was amiss. This is fake sea cucumber made from fish maw, but sold as seafood. There have been reports of a well-known restaurant in Dalian which used sponge as a substitute for sea cucumber. A tourist in Rizhao, Shandong, bought seafood for 60 yuan per half a kilo, only to discover the crab legs appeared to be stuffed with gluten. This man spent 400 yuan on mantis shrimp, only to find them hollow and filled with water upon opening. Some describe the current state of Chinese society as billions of lives have been sacrificed to toxic milk powder, vaccines, contaminated classrooms, running tracks, and moldy foods.
Oh, look at their city. You think our pollution is bad? They're literally like unaliving their people. In my opinion, we have this in Salt Lake City too. And this is a problem because we don't need their energy. We don't need their energy. Energy should be free. We can be harnessed from the magnetic pole of the earth. This is a problem. And I feel bad for my brothers and sisters in China.
China's food crises have reached a point where not eating can lead to immediate death from starvation, but eating can lead to a slow death from poisoning. The public criticizes the authorities for inadequate regulations. The Chinese government's so-called food safety supervision is merely empty promises, as China's food safety defenses crumble and the dangers of poisoned food nearly spiral out of control. The food safety issue also highlights multiple challenges in Chinese society, including a lack of information transparency, an imperfect legal environment, and declining social trust. Under the CCP's regime of violence, lies, and poisoning, Chinese people continue to struggle to navigate life.
Yeah, super sad. I call the CCP the cunty China protocol. That just makes me sad. All right, let's look at bugs being a food item for a minute, shall we?
Your future dinner. That's because right now, globally, meat agriculture is being vilified for causing too much climate change, for using up too much land, for using up too much water, and so on and so forth. And as a part of the green agenda to fix all these meat-related problems, well, policies are being implemented across the entirety of the world, which are effectively handcuffing farmers and sometimes even completely crippling the farmers' operations. However, you might be wondering, if all of these meat and dairy and cattle farmers are put out of business in order to save the planet, what exactly are people going to eat? Where are people going to get their source of protein from? Well, fear not. That is exactly where insect farming comes in. For the past 10 or so years now, international organizations like the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, the European Union, and so on and so forth have been working relentlessly to push forward and to normalize the edible insect industry. which might help to explain why, seemingly all of a sudden, we're seeing all sorts of celebrities endorsing insect food. We're seeing media outlets across the world normalizing edible bugs, and we're even starting to see children have insects be introduced into their school lunch programs. However, in order to explain how we got to this point, let's start at the very beginning. 10 years ago, all the way back in the year 2013, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, they released this report right here titled Edible Insects.
Insects have an ingredient in them that is harmful to humans. I can't remember what it's called. It starts with C. Maybe they'll tell us in this.
Prospects for food and feed security. Now, this report of theirs, it outlined how there are going to be too many people on this planet in the near future, and that the current model of meat production will not be adequate to feed them all. Here's specifically how the report began. Quote, "It is widely accepted that by 2050, the world will host 9 billion people. To accommodate this number, current food production will need to almost double. Land is scarce, and expanding the area devoted to farming is rarely a viable or sustainable option. Oceans are overfished, and climate change and related water shortages could have profound implications for food production. To meet the food and nutrition challenges of today, there are nearly 1 billion chronically hungry people worldwide, and tomorrow, what we eat and how we produce it needs to be reevaluated. Inefficiencies need to be rectified, and food waste reduced. We need to find new ways of growing food." And of course, given the fact that this report is titled Edible Insects, you kind of see where they're going with this. Quote, "Edible insects have always been a part of human diets, but in some societies, there is a degree of distaste for their consumption. Insects offer a significant opportunity to merge traditional knowledge and modern science in both developed and developing countries." Now, this UN report, again, published 10 full years ago, well, it's now considered, in retrospect, one of the foundational documents in this effort to bring insect eating into mainstream Western culture. And just as a fun fact, in this UN report, there are some possible solutions to getting over people's resistance in the West to eating bugs. Here's what they wrote on this front, again, 10 full years ago. Quote, "Among the strategies to be considered for developing effective communication strategies for governments, international agencies, the private sector, and NGOs are tailoring messages for different audiences, identifying incentives for using insects as food, using success stories and best practices/experiences to promote the consumption of insects, involving local media to raise awareness, creating a communication toolkit on the importance of and opportunities for insects as food and feed, and seeking endorsements from celebrities to improve the credibility of the sector." It's kind of amazing to read this in retrospect, knowing how 10 years from when this was written, well, we have media outlets and celebrities across the whole world.
Of course, because this is all part of the program. It's all part of the plan. And may I add, of unelected officials planning the global agenda. But I say that they need to eat bugs first for the next 10 years, and then let's see what happens to them first.
World indeed pushing for the eating of insects. It's always fascinating to see how many of these grassroots campaigns that we see on television and on social media can be traced back to some sort of a centralized plan at the international level.
Yeah, there's something toxic in bugs, and they are putting it in, I saw this somewhere, in Coca-Cola. I don't drink soda, so I'm okay with that. No, that's enough for food videos today, because it makes me depressed sometimes that they're doing this. It just is disgusting behavior.
Thank you for listening to the Unveiling Shadows podcast. I hope today's episode has shed light on the experiences that too often remain hidden. If you or someone you know has a story to share, please reach out to me. Remember, you're not alone and your voice matters. Follow me on social media and subscribe to the podcast for more inspiring stories. Until next time, stay strong and keep unveiling the shadows.